This presentation is entitled Process and Outcomes of Residency Mergers. The disembodied voice that is guiding you through this Ignite talk is Dr. John Snellings from Eastern Virginia Medical School, an ADFM Leeds Fellow in the class of 2022 to 2023. In April 2020, the decision was made to merge EVMS's two long-standing but separate family medicine residency programs, Ghent Family Medicine and Portsmouth Family Medicine, into one single program, EVMS Family Medicine. Although the decision at the time was partially due to extenuating circumstances such as the COVID-19 pandemic affecting the availability of core faculty, overall the decision to merge was seen as a positive one and had been actually considered for decades by the GME community at the school. As the merger became official on July 1st, 2020, there was much cause for optimism with what the merger was offering to all parties involved with the programs, including expanded access to clinical rotations, increased access to all department faculty, improved residency administrative operations, and improved outreach to the underserved communities of Norfolk and Portsmouth. All early steps in the merger focused on transparency and maintaining open lines of communications between program leadership and the residents. They also focused on being mindful of Cotter's change management steps, including creating a sense of urgency, enabling action by removing barriers, and instituting the change of the residency program. However, there was still the need to recognize the loss for some residents of their previous program, particularly those residents who felt like this was more of a hostile takeover as opposed to a merging and collaboration of two previously functional but separate residency programs. In the early days of the merger, our program's leadership sought scholarly activity, including publications, to help guide us in the best practices of residency mergers. There is a good volume of literature on mergers in business literature. However, in GME literature, there wasn't much to find. A literature search revealed only 7 journal articles over the past 30 years which addressed residency mergers, and only one of those was family medicine specific. The question we asked ourselves when faced with this dearth of resources and guidance was, why? It became clear when reviewing the available literature that residency mergers likely carry a negative stigma amongst the GME community, most often being forced due to the jeopardized viability of a program or the merging of healthcare systems. However, our merger was done with mostly positive reasons, and this provided the inspiration for this project, the desire to better equip programs potentially facing mergers with best practices for long-term success. The aforementioned family medicine specific merger article, Smith et al. From Family Medicine in 2003, had common themes with our own merger, including merging two unique cultures leading to a sense of loss for some, and also the helpfulness of establishing new rituals as a merged program. These similarities provide the early building blocks of, you guessed it, a residency merger toolbox from which resources could be found. The next step was identifying the most important stakeholders in our residency program merger that would help build this toolbox and the resources to better guide future programs in their potential mergers. One of those stakeholder groups are our current PGY3 residents. This was the class that matched in March 2020 in one of EVMS's 2 separate family medicine residencies, and 1 month later, they were told that they would alternatively be trained in a new merged program. As their time in residency comes to an end in the next few months, it's critical to capture their unique perspectives on the entire residency merger timeline. A survey is in development to quantify this and will include feedback, including their initial reactions to the news of the merger, how they coped with the early days of a brand new system, and how they feel their merged residency experience has prepared them for autonomous practice. Another important stakeholder group are future applicants, as their outsider perspective has potentially the most value with regards to best practices that can be utilized universally. 2 years of survey data has already been collected to gauge the applicants' perspectives on the presentation of a merged residency program, and early data analysis has revealed findings such as the fact that residency program mergers have the potential to enhance newly formed programs' profile and standing among applicants. Freely discussing merger details left a positive impression on interviewees, and a preference was shown for programs with an older merger, i.e. 12 to 24 months, than ones with a more recent, i.e. 0 to 12 months merger. As these sources of data and toolbox information continue to be collected, the goal is to disseminate them in the form of publications, conference presentations, and group discussions. Manuscripts have been submitted for the applicant perspectives data analysis, and a group discussion on residency merger experiences was led during a 2022 ADFM annual conference breakfast table. I am confident that these scholarly activity efforts have great potential to provide valuable resources to future residency programs facing a merger. Ideally, they won't have to search for a needle in a haystack for some guidance on the challenges ahead. Thanks for watching, and thank you to the Leeds Fellowship leadership for guiding me through this wonderful year of learning and exploration.